this off. So, LeBron James might be going to a new team in Philly. It's not confirmed. It's not confirmed, but at the end of the day, I do think it's a big possibility. And so, with that being said, there's a couple of things to be talked about. One, how good are they? Will they need that extra depth? Because obviously, with the 5 players that you see here, 1, 2, 3, yep, all these guys here, they're gonna need some people who don't touch the ball, play defense, don't make any money, right? So the big question for this video is gonna be: is this a potential 76ers team? Is this another iteration of the 97 Rockets or the 2017 Warriors? 2017 Warriors, obviously they got Kevin Durant to join a 73-9 team that went to the finals, right? And we know how that went. They went to multiple finals in a row and only lost in the finals when Kevin and Clay was hurt in the finals. So that's something you do have to look at, something that is kind of important. So that is something there. While the 97 Rockets, Hakeem Olajuwon had just won back-to-back championships. They traded their shooters away for Charles Barkley. Really, they traded it for Charles Barkley and just to have some money. So they traded for the most part, besides Olajuwon, they traded away what worked, and they gathered, one of those first super teams where a player joined another 2 players to make a kind of obvious super team, if you will. And so the problem with the 97 Rockets was, besides Olajuwon being older, Drexler being older, Barkley was, not only was Barkley older, Barkley talked about retiring in 1993. So this is 4 or 5 years of doubt in his mind. Should he still be playing? He wanted to retire after 1993. This could even be a video. The wrong guy retired in '93. While Barkley wanted to retire and end his career, Jordan, it was more so. It's kind of tough because you got the dad thing. I believe it's more refreshing. I mean, you just won 3 championships in a row. It's kind of like when you're hitting the jackpot and you keep getting the right rolls. Eventually, you're gonna feel like, all right, I want to stop. I want people to think. Either you want people to think that you're that guy when you leave, or you just want to just leave on a good note. What's going on, guys? What's going on? So that's why Charles Barkley would join that team, and it eventually didn't end up working for him. So with LeBron James now on this team, you have LeBron James holds the ball, Embiid needs the ball in the post, Jalen Brunson's a mid-range scorer, Tyrese Maxey's a point guard who holds the ball, VJ Edgecombe, he's a good player, but it's pretty obvious he's going to be one of those Jalen Brown type of players where he's a scorer. He may defend, he might be a two-way player, but he's not necessarily a catch-and-shoot player. So you have all these guys, all these talents. Who's going to really be the number 1 option? And how many of these guys are actually going to be willing to take a seat back and let the offense go? It's a big question in this hypothetical. There's no spacing here. And before I talk about LeBron James and Jalen Brown, potential beef, right? It's just, you look at this team here, and they do have all the writings on the wall to being a 2017 Warriors to some degree. I don't think they'd be as dominant. I think the league is better equipped for a 2017 Warriors. But at the end of the day, you have guys like Joel Embiid. If he is playing, you have in the Eastern Conference maybe 2 guys who can guard him. LeBron James, though he's older, you never know when he can put up 40 points. And in a playoff game, in a playoff atmosphere, he showed he can still be the best player on a playoff team to some degree when he beat the Rockets. I thought the Rockets would beat LeBron James and those guys. And LeBron James proved me wrong. So you have a guy who can carry that team. They have a lot of promise. But at the end of the day, look at VJ Edgecombe. He's going to need to refine his game. He's going to need to get better. How does he grow as a basketball player with all these guys on the same team? That's another thing that I look at. Maybe he does get like a good advice. Maybe he learns from these players. But as far as getting touches and growing as a player, I don't see the opportunity really coming up for him. Signing LeBron James would be nice. In some ways, it kind of helps their playmaking because Tyrese Maxey is a decent playmaker. So now they have multiple playmakers in him and Tyrese Maxey. By the end of the day, I'm not too sure how sustained that offense can be. And then you have guys like, let's see. Ibonda, he's gonna play backup center. Can he fill Embiid's spot while playing backup? Can he carry the team at the center position? I only say that because they're not realistically, once they get LeBron James, they don't have that much guys. They don't have that much guys left to add to the team. So now we're looking at a team who was basically complete, no spacing, whole bunch of personalities. And then another reason why I think this may or may not even be come to fruition in the first place is LeBron James and Jalen Brown, right? So LeBron James he talks about things that goes on in the community, but he's like on the far spectrum of Jalen Brown. While Jalen Brown also talks about the community, what's going on, guys? The big difference is LeBron James is more he's more worried about billionaires and how they think about him. So like the thing what he said about China, the stuff he said about Israel, just for example, whether I agree or disagree, you look at what he said there, look at what Jalen Brown said. I don't think those two personalities can honestly mesh. LeBron James is obviously he's a big superstar, and Jalen Brown is becoming a pretty big superstar with a podcast of his own. I don't see that chemistry working out all that well. So you have that aspect of it as well. You got the personalities as far as just getting the ball. You have potential beefs. And I heard that Jalen Brown has not called Joel Embiid yet. I don't know if that's true or not, but there's something there. At the end of the day, even though this team sounds very, very scary, and if they joined up together, I'd probably take him to come out the East. I do have heavy questions because at the end of the day, they might just be another version of the '97 Rockets. You guys remember, I said before, Charles Barkley was thinking about retiring in 1993. The wrong guy retired in 1993. Charles Barkley wanted to retire after getting a championship. He was, I think he had back injuries. He just wanted to stop playing. He wasn't holding up. He put up his best effort, won the MVP in '93, looked to win a championship. He didn't. Jordan won the championship. As I said before, you make 10 free throws in a row, 100 threes in a row. At some point, you're going to want to feel like, let me stop. And then eventually, that hunger came back for Jordan. I can speak to it as an older brother myself. I can say there's games that I was better than my brothers at some point, and then when they were better than me, did I stop playing those games? No, I kept playing those games. That's kind of how I see it. Jordan, with him keep coming back. You like the game, you're gonna keep playing the game no matter where you are there. So I think that was a big part of him coming back. But Jordan didn't need to retire '93, while Barkley was heavily looking to retire '93. So you have a Barkley who, honestly, he had a success in Team USA. He did. He was probably the best Team USA Dream Team player when you look at the stats and the games. But I'd honestly say that just because there was so much stars there and they could dominate everybody. But if push came to shove, would Charles Barkley be the best player? I'm not too sure. Only because Charles Barkley needs the ball to score. He does rebound. And he's a decent playmaker. But that was a big thing about Charles Barkley joining teams. While he had success on the Dream Team, I believe that was a big portion of that was just because the team was so good that they were going to dominate whoever. And so as long as he just did what he did as a role player role, if he excelled at whatever role it was, it was gonna pop out. First is I watched the '97 Rockets versus Jazz. And in the series they lost, in the game they lost, Game 6, it was said that the Rockets really needed this. The coach told them that believe in yourself and go out there and do what you do. And the thing about Charles Barkley was, him and Olajuwon, they can't both be posting up. They can't be both posting up. That was a big factor. Like, Charles Barkley, one, doesn't pass or wasn't as willing of a passer as Hakeem Olajuwon was. And so you have these two guys trying to score in the paint. Olajuwon a little bit less of himself, and Charles Barkley a way less version of himself. Then you include the fact that there was no spacing on the Rockets because they had traded the spacing for Barkley, and Clyde Drexler was having a great game that game. Besides Olajuwon's 6 blocks, defense matters. Besides the 6 blocks, if you didn't know about 6 blocks and just look at the offense, Clyde Drexler was carrying the Rockets on offense. But Drexler didn't have the opportunities he should have had because of a guy like Charles Barkley. And even when Drexler was gone and they swapped him out for Scottie Pippen, it was just kind of the same thing. No spacing. And the personalities. When it comes to you having no spacing and personalities basically coming to colliding, I don't really see that being a successful fit for any team ever, really. And the only team that could have that was Shaq and Kobe, and they were both all-time great players. So it's kind of like, and even when their beef got to the highest point, they lost in the finals. Do remember, they lost in 03 in the Western Conference Finals, went to the finals in 04, and they did get better with Malone and Gary Payne, and then they lost in 04 to the Pistons. But the Pistons just a better team? Possibly. But it's also possible that if Shaq and Kobe were a real duo, they possibly don't lose in the way that they do. And so, yes, this team is stacked. I'd probably pick this team. But those are my beefs with this team. As far as the Cavs are concerned, I don't think LeBron James wants to play with Mr. Analytically V1. I don't think he's going to want to play with that coach. Personally, it might David Blatt him, to be honest. Maybe he gets fired, or he gets fired a little bit earlier. That's what I suspect. I don't really see him working out with James Harden. One, James Harden is another guy who holds the ball. LeBron James, I don't think he's that good at defense, especially right now. And so you have James Harden as well. Both non-consistent defenders. Both people who need the ball in their hands to be effective. I don't know. Look at that with the Cavs, and then again, the coaching situation. I don't think he's joining Kenny Atkinson. Personally, I don't see it that way. And then, what was the other team? You had Philly, Cleveland, and let's see. Philly, Cleveland, what was the other team? Miami. Miami's kind of like Philly a little bit. They don't have the beef. They don't have that potential beef going on. But at the end of the day, he goes to Miami. Say there's no beef with Pat Riley. There's no beef with Pat Riley. Well, then still there's no spacing there. Giannis is not going to be able to stretch the floor enough. Bam can shoot. He doesn't stretch the floor enough. LeBron James, he's probably the best he's ever been at shooting right now, but he doesn't stretch the floor enough. So all three teams, I do see heavy issues in. I don't see him joining Kenny Atkinson. I think Miami, not enough spacing to win. And Philly, like I said, there's a potential big thing with him and Jalen Brown and their political views. But more so, I just kind of see this being the '97 Rockets, where there's too many guys who need the ball. Everyone here needs the ball. None of these guys are true catch and shoot players. None of these guys are like, there's no DeAndre Jordan here, right? So there's no one who can just like say, all right, you're gonna be effective, but we're gonna throw you lobs. That's how you'll be effective. You get rebounds for us, block shots. You can't ask Joel Embiid to do that. Joel Embiid, though he is a good defender at times, and he can protect the paint, he definitely can protect the paint. and even get rebounds. Joel Embiid's only really valuable there if he's going to score, especially score on the smaller guys or in that half-court setting when the offense hasn't scored. That's a very valuable thing about the big man. You can draw the foul if you don't score and get some free throws. So that's some positives there. I do. How do I say this? I do want him to go to other teams or question other teams, and I do think that Cleveland is probably the most realistic scenario. But at the end of the day, Cleveland has the team to win a championship, but let's forget these guys on the screen and think about Cleveland. If LeBron James is on Cleveland with Kenny Atkinson there and James Harden there, are they a championship team in your guys' opinion? That's what I'm pretty interested in. And then let's pull this up here for you guys. Let's see if there's let's go. All right. So that was my take on that. I'm gonna see if I can run some, get some numbers up here, and I'm gonna do a rough draft on my top 10 MVPs ever. Let's see. Before I touch on the MVPs ever, I did think about something pretty interesting not too long ago when people were talking about LeBron James and his relationship with Lakers fans, right? LeBron James and his relationship with Laker fans is an interesting topic because people think Laker fans, for the most part, they hate LeBron James. They're diehard Kobe fans, and they're like Kobe tards, if you want to say that. And I used to kind of think of that to a certain degree. You know, like the guys who really hate LeBron James, even though they're Laker fans, are probably just diehard Kobe fans. But I thought about it a little bit differently. In this scenario, they're still Kobe fans, but I try to be a little fair. And what I mean by that is this. Say Michael Jordan retires, right? Michael Jordan retires, and then Kobe Bryant joins the Bulls. I don't know if you guys remember. It could have been either right when he retired, because that's more similar to the Kobe Bryant situation. 16, LeBron goes at 18. Or it can be whenever Kobe wanted that trade. I forget the exact year, but I think it was like maybe 07. I think it was like 07, 08. Around 06 and 08 is when Kobe wanted that trade, right? Either way, if Kobe goes to the Bulls and wins championships with the Bulls, as good as a player Kobe Bryant is, and he gives them success, do you guys think the Bulls would appreciate Kobe Bryant? How many Bulls fans would actually appreciate Kobe Bryant? How many Bulls fans would say, this is not Michael Jordan? And when I thought about that, now you know what? It's kind of just the players like respecting the team that they started following. It's a little bit differently because if Kobe Bryant joined the Bulls, I'm positive there's Michael Jordan fans that would feel a certain way. Like, they like him, but it might be a little hard for them. And it's a little bit different because he copies Michael Jordan, but maybe that makes it worse because he copies Michael Jordan. It's a very interesting topic because I was thinking about it. Yeah, it makes sense that people are just diehard Kobe fans, and that's why they hate LeBron James or whatever reason. But I truly do think it was just because, if you guys remember, some people like to pretend it's not true. But Kobe Bryant had the crown until probably 2012, 2013, until LeBron actually first won his championship for real. There are still heavy talks about Kobe Bryant. And then even when his prime was lessened, like when he was 2011, 2012, Kobe Bryant was not the same player, and LeBron James got into his prime. By 2016, there was still a debate. I think it was leaning more towards LeBron's side for sure, but there was still a debate. Until you have a guy who's literally like competition for you, and they're saying, you know what, he's going to join your team, and I don't think people are just gonna like watch him and think like I don't think they're gonna watch him and appreciate him only because he's kind of taking. In some ways, he's taking Kobe's spot. In some ways, I know it may not be like to hear about that, or you might not like to hear that, but I think that's a realistic scenario. If Shaq had joined the Rockets, Rockets fans were telling themselves this is not Akeem Olajuwon. I'm sure Steph Curry was already Steph. He stayed there. There's very similar examples though. Like, say Julius Erving, I don't know, joined the Celtics. If he joined the Celtics after Larry Bird retired, or Dominique joined the Celtics after Larry Bird retired. If Michael Jordan joined the Celtics when Larry Bird retired, I'm sure there's a lot of people from the Celtics side that's going to say Michael Jordan is not Larry Bird. Just because they loved the Celtics and they watched with Larry Bird, so it's like in some ways you're gonna be trying to replace him. And then you know how these topics go on ESPN, so they're always like, is this player the best? Is that player the best? Did he do enough to be a top 10 player? LeBron James was getting conversations with Michael Jordan before he ever won a championship. Before he ever won a championship, they were talking about Michael Jordan. They were talking about Kobe Bryant. So I really do think it was more so him joining that rival player and the fan just not being like he can't replace him. The same way if Kobe Bryant tried to go to the Bulls, the Michael Jordan fans would not accept Kobe Bryant all that much. They'd say he's trying to replace him. If Shaq tried to join the Rockets, they'd say he's trying to replace him. Let me set up for a new position and I'll be back. Points a game, 8.6 assists, 7 points. Just pause that there. Okay, and so before I go and finish off with my rough draft for the MVPs, I want to talk about Kareem and the skyhook, because I had a conversation earlier with some relatives about Kareem and the skyhook, and honestly, there's a couple big reasons why people don't do the skyhook anymore. You're going to have some people who talk about it can't work in the modern game. They're going to block the shot. Maybe that's a possibility. But I think there are bigger reasons, right? I think, one, when Michael Jordan joined the NBA, look at all the post centers after him. They started to decline. But the major reason is people forget Kareem, when he was dominating from high school to college, they banned dunking. I think largely part of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar himself because he was just that good. But they banned dunking, and so he had to make a new move. He had to make a new move to be just as good. I mean, they took dunking away from him. So if they took dunking away from him, what do you think? It'd be really hard to score. I mean, obviously dunking is an easy concept, but at the end of the day, taking dunking away from players, especially centers, it's pretty insane. And so Kareem adopted the skyhook. It's a big part of the story of the skyhook to begin with. So I do think the hook shot, I think people in general need to shoot more hook shots. Wemby needs to shoot more hook shots. Can't tell you the last time he shot a hook shot. I've been waiting. I've been watching the conference finals, the finals. I don't remember a single hook shot. But the point being, I think a big reason people haven't developed the skyhook is mainly because of the whole dunking scenario. There are other scenarios, like the granny shot, for example. I think the reason Shaq and others have said they didn't do the granny shot because it's kind of embarrassing. I also think players, when they were kids, when they were in high school, and like maybe even middle school or AAU, maybe they're afraid to do the skyhook. Maybe they're they felt embarrassed, or like Wembanyama, for example. He's 7'5". You would think, I don't know about you guys, but most people who weren't blessed with the height to play, if we were 7'5", we would just like dunk the ball. We would like use our height. Wemby's not that guy because he doesn't want to be that guy. It's in his mindset that he doesn't want to be a center. He wants to be like a guard or a wing. And so, in my opinion, you have new people taking away, or you have the great centers of the past basically declining, so there's no one to look up to. You have a new style of play in Michael Jordan. You have the NBA basically making it hard for centers in general. I've made a video about this on my older channel about there's so many rules from the 40s, like the NBA started in the 40s, from the 40s all the way to now basically, of just the NBA time and time again trying to stop or slow down the center's impact, right? You have that in play. And then you have the fact that they banned dunking. I mean, they banned dunking and he needed a new move. Kareem needed a new move and they got dunking. So will an Embiid, or let's forget Embiid, let's think of some younger players like a Damara or a Wemby or a Shet, players who need that who should use some post moves, and I appreciate y'all. People who could definitely use a post move. I think the two big factors besides the NBA trying to slow down the center position is you really can't do anything about that right now. That's why I always say basketball is not the NBA. There's college, there's the NBA, there's different leagues, but basketball isn't that. I think of basketball as like, honestly, the blacktop. On the court, if Joel Embiid was to play whoever on an actual blacktop, I would think he's gonna post up a lot. I don't think he's gonna shoot a bunch of threes. That's just my personal opinion. But in general, that's usually how it is. The NBA game is not necessarily basketball. Just because there's so many rules that stop you from doing stuff, where if we played on the court, no one's gonna call a 3 seconds on you or a 5 seconds on you. There's so many things. I don't know, people call hand checking on you. If, like, personally for me, if someone's hand checking me, I'm just assuming that we're playing some physical basketball. So look, things like that. It doesn't get too technical. They don't try to take away from other players. So you have the fact that they don't think it's cool. The fact that Kareem literally had to adapt. That's why they don't really shoot the hook shots like that. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. And so for the new viewers who are still seeing this up here, I just made the analogy of the 97 Rockets being a whole bunch of personalities who there's no spacing, there's no depth, and the potential beef, like how Pippen and Barkley had beef. Jalen Brown and LeBron James, politically, they don't fit together. I don't know if that's a real basketball issue. It can be, because they're both political people, and they usually make it that. When you're a political guy, you usually make it an issue to some degree. And then I've heard from Tracy McGrady, don't know if this is true or not, because this is from Tracy McGrady, not Jalen Brown. But Jalen Brown has not talked to Joel Embiid. It's pretty weird, right? Do I think he's going to join the Cavs? Maybe, but I don't think he joins Kenny Atkinson. I don't think he wants to join Mr. Analytically. All right. Before I wrap this up here, let me pull this up and let's go. Let's see. Let me see if I can get to the new screen one way here. Okay. Have to clear that up. Okay. Now let's see. So I cover the Rockets scenario. MVPs. Let's go to the MVPs. find the MVP list. Let's see. Here.
3 rebounds in 76 games.
Okay, so with the top 10 MVPs, let me pull some up real quick. You have guys like Will Chamberlain in the 60s, who put up some good ones. Honestly, you have Will Chamberlain's rookie year. I'm going to give that an honorable mention. I'm going to give Wes Unseld an honorable mention. So he really didn't do all that, but if you win Rookie of the Year and MVP, I got to give you some respect. And so I'm looking at 2013 LeBron James. Let's see. We had 2012 LeBron James. I'm looking at 74 Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Let's play the video and find out. What do you guys think Nikola Jokic's ranking his MVP is? Does he have a top 10 MVP case for his MVPs? Put this up and hold on, I'm trying to get the screen correct.
Franchise records. Some more honorable mentions would be 91 Mike and 85 Bird.
Huh? No.
But on to the show. At number 9, we have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And for me, this is his...
Abdul-Jabbar, let's see. All right. I couldn't get it pulled up. So I'll have to try this. I'll try to do that live another time. While I have you guys here, I guess the last thing I want to bring to your attention, future YouTube video I'm gonna be making. How do you guys feel about Messi? When I say Messi, I mean, yes, the soccer player that we all know. He's gonna be playing playing World Cup pretty soon. But I don't know if you guys know this. When he was younger, he was projected 4'7", and so they gave him steroids, HGH to be exact, to make him 5'7", right? My height. How do you guys feel about that? I really want to know. It's gonna take me a little bit of time packaging that video, but it's something very, very thought-provoking because, I mean, I'd like to be taller. I'm sure a lot of you guys would like to be taller. You don't just gain size from it too. I know people say he's only 5'7". Muscle endurance, bone density, all that stuff's a huge factor. Can he still be the GOAT? That's like the big crux of this whole thing. I know soccer players, I mean, I guess they don't care because I've never heard it from them. I actually had to hear it from outside the soccer community. But it's pretty interesting. Like, you guys can look into this. Messi, when he was younger, he dabbled in some things where I guess if a player did that when they were older, they'd be flagged. They'd be flagged for PED use. It's just very, very interesting because, I mean, we're either young now or we're going to have kids, and it's like, this guy's the damn near greatest player of all time, and he took HGH, and no one really cares. That's a video topic I'd like to package pretty soon. I couldn't share my top 10 list with you guys because wasn't able to pull up the screen. So that's a little I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess a reimbursement, if you will. But I'd say that's largely the main part of this video. And until next time.